This has been really interesting to kind of go through and see people's reactions to this. I'm calling it, Are Mormons Learning a Whole New Way of Speaking? And I was contacted by somebody who had been in their ward a few weeks ago, and they had been shown a slideshow that was trying to teach people how to use different words. You alluded to this earlier, Bill, different words that are more mainstream Christian. We talk about this a lot. And we're going to go over one of the slides, which was a chart, sort of, don't use this, but use this, But the thing I found interesting that this person said is that after they went through the slide presentation that came from the church, there was a statement that said, this is approved by the First Presidency. And after they read through all the new words they were supposed to use, they actually had the youth and adults role play and see if they could learn to incorporate some of these words into natural daily speech, which I can't imagine how you could. So, and you'll see what I mean when we go through these, but I thought we'd each just kind of take a turn reading. Let's see, I'll pull this up here. Okay, it's really small, so hopefully you also have it on your phones. I do, but the whole slideshow is just about how to present ourselves, kind of a unified way that as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we want to present ourselves. And this section is called Our Voice. So it's going to talk about the words that you say when you're talking to others. And the little description says considerations and alternatives for church-specific words. So they're recognizing that some of those words, beehive, Miamate, they've already done away with those long ago, but some of those words mean nothing to somebody outside of the church or may mean something completely different. And I think we saw that with minister, youth pastor, it's very interesting. So it says we sometimes use words or jargon that may convey meaning within the church culture that can be misunderstood by others. Use words that are simple, clear, and doctrinally correct. Not sure exactly what that means. This list clarifies some commonly used terms. You can find additional terms and alternatives at the guide of churchofjesuschrist.org. So there's, I think, even more. But these were the ones that they went over in this role-playing exercise in this ward. And I'm guessing it's not just this ward. I'm assuming probably we'll hear from others that they have also, experienced this in their ward. So I don't know. Let's just go through it. Let's go. Bill, take one. RFM, take one. I'll take one. Let's just go down the list and talk about the changes that they'd like the members to make and how they speak.
The first one is brethren. Try using church leaders or prophets, apostles, and so forth, or simply men or priesthood holders. For example, several priesthood holders may participate in an ordinance. See also priesthood below. I think the men one is funny. Like, let's not even acknowledge that these guys are Mormon guys with priesthood power. Let's just call them men.
Yeah, I think brethren is such an old-timey word. It's so archaic and kind of off-putting that nobody knows what they're talking about. So they want to distance themselves from that because it's confusing.
Is the next one me?
Yeah, brother or sister. Okay. We'll just go down the list. The next one's you.
Brother and sister. These terms are appropriate. Oh, thank goodness. We don't have to get rid of that. Brother and sister for communication within church organizations. However, we do not assume that people of other faiths want to be addressed with these terms or want to address us this way. I never, ever felt that way, Rebecca and Bill. Is this a Mormon thing? Do other Mormons call non-Mormons brother and sister?
I can see you going, hey, brother, maybe we're so used to it that perhaps we would. I mean, I'll give an example. One of my kids in elementary school called his teacher sister so-and-so because, and probably she was LDS, it was Utah County, but you're so used to saying it at church, right? That in class, he says sister so-and-so.
But that's a little kid, right?
It is a little kid. Yeah. No, he was 19. No, no, that's it. So yeah, I mean, they're recognizing that some of these words, they just don't play in the bigger, wider world. So convert, there's one. Okay. Are you a convert? Or do you know a convert? Right. No, instead we're supposed to say, consider using new member of the church. Okay. What I did notice is that
that doesn't work. That covers part of it, but yeah. I'm a convert and I'm not a new member of the church.
Right. And an 8-year-old is a new member of the church. Yeah. Exactly. So, but what I do notice is that the phrases that they used to use are short, and what they want them to use now get longer and longer as you try to explain. So, anyway, converts. Yeah, I don't agree with that either, because 8-year-olds are also new members of the church. Okay, go ahead, Bill.
All right, fellowship. As a noun, consider using friendship. As a verb, consider get to know, become friends with, or associate with. Yeah, they don't like, we're trying to wash the Mormonism off, aren't we?
Yeah.
We really are. And I can just see people in these Mormons in these meetings where they're role playing and trying to learn the new lingo. And I think it's the new lingo that they're talking about as being doctrinally correct. This is the new doctrinally correct way to speak.
Yeah, I think it's awkward. I would like to see an example of this role playing, because most of these things don't kind of roll off the tongue. They're kind of said in a very subjunctive way. You know, it's not natural to say, but they're trying to do it. All right. Inactive, RFM.
Yeah. And by the way, why is inactive on there? Because we changed that a long time ago to less active.
We changed it, but most people didn't get that message, right? Just like they still use non-member and inactive.
I hope they understand that that's a prediction of how well this exercise is going to go. But they have inactive on there, and it says, be cautious about categorizing people. If necessary, consider using less engaged church members.
That's what I picture with the role playing.
They're less engaged. Oh my gosh. They're not even less active. They're less engaged church members. People who don't currently participate in church activities, or former Mormons who don't give a shit.
By the way, about 80% of the active part of the word is less engaged. Just FYI.
Oh my gosh. I used to teach gospel doctrine class. Tell me about it.
I mean, but how do you use this? Yeah, my dad is a person who doesn't currently participate in church activities. I mean, how are you even supposed to use that in conversation? They're just...
Why isn't your dad supervising girls camp?
Yeah,
well, that's because he's a less engaged church member who doesn't currently participate in church activities. That's why.
We need flashcards. I'm not kidding.
Imagine trying to use like several of these in the same paragraph. It would become a complete mess.
It would start to read like the Book of Mormon.
Like a word council. So, brother, describe the new neighbors that you just met. Well, one is a less engaged, one is a currently, you would never get through it. You wouldn't be able to. Okay, investigator. I think we have all seen this popping up in missionary letters over the last couple years. A different word for investigator says the term investigator may feel impersonal, and in some cases, it may imply secrecy or government action.
What?
So I didn't make this up. I promise.
I have never ever thought, is this like in some other place where calling a person an investigator might imply government action?
Well, no, I have seen on Faithful social media, someone will say, hi, everybody, I'm an investigator of the LDS church. And, everyone, of course, there knows what they're talking about.
Oh,
but what if you said that somewhere
the Federal
else?
Bureau of Investigators.
Yeah, like a badge, right? Flash your badge. Anyway, so instead, we're supposed to consider visitor, neighbor, friend. Friend is what I hear all the time, and so on. But again, visitor, neighbor, friend, that isn't specific to missionary work at all.
No, not at all. But it does give a nod to the fact that Mormons do consider all non-Mormons to be investigators.
Eventually, yes.
Or investigators in waiting.
Don't investigators do investigations? I think the last thing Mormonism wants is anybody investigating.
Maybe that's why they need to get rid of the word.
That's right. It gave them too much of a clue. You better start investigating. Oh, no, just be a friend. Just be a neighbor. That's all. Okay, now we're getting into the longer explanations. Bill, go ahead.
All right, members. Avoid using member in a way that implies superiority or exclusive belonging. All people are children of heavenly parents, and Jesus Christ Church and Gospel are for everyone as appropriate in your context. Consider words like congregation, baptized individuals, neighbors, people of our faith, and so on.
Okay, neighbors is dumb because it doesn't mean people who are Mormons, okay? Baptized individuals is, well, it's correct if you're considering it in a Mormon context, but really, baptized individuals, who came up with that one? And who thought it was good enough to include?
Are you a baptized individual of the church? I am too. Doesn't make any
People of our
sense.
faith. Yeah, I get that one. Congregation, that makes sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for when you're talking about members who are not in your congregation.
Again, it's just all smoke and mirrors.